angle a bit. Shiitake. I won't say the other word. There we go. I think.
You gonna have to. There you go. Stretch that out a little bit, like I did. I did my circumference the other day. Man, I might be close to 7 5/8.
Your head?
Yeah. My hair too. It ain't just head.
Go ahead and get my shares on.
Chairs get up higher than you. Like a barber chair, you know, just. This is the first time we've been on here.
Yeah, together, yeah.
University Lions Park, 502 and a half Brick Street.
502 and a half.
Will be the official
502
in Jonesboro
502 and a half.
Yeah. This ad sounds good. This ad sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
It's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah.
Have you heard it yet?
First time.
Leganzi, this sounds good. The ad sounds good.
Yeah, I hired a professional voiceover artist to do it. I wanted to grab people's attention.
Sounds good.
All right, man, here we go.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council.
KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on this Eclipse Monday. It's April 8th, 2024. This is Community Conversations. Kevin Wonder is in the studio with you, and joining us, as always, on the second Monday of the month, we have Shamal Carter, the president of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP, and we also have Garrett Barnes, who is the Justice of the Peace for District 2 here in Craighead County, serving Jonesboro, Arkansas. And they got a lot of stuff on their mind that they want to talk about and want to let the listeners be informed about. So, Shamal, I'll start with you.
Okay. It is amazing. I appreciate you for having me on your show once again. Like you said, we do this every second Monday. The NAACP is so busy with our community and collaboration and working on getting some things done. And so one of the biggest things we have right now is we started our community prayer after the incident that happened, I believe, on Burke Street. I believe it was Burke. After that incident, we gathered some people in the community, and we actually got together and prayed. But I told them this would not be the end of that. And so Garrett and myself partnered together. He did a family day at Parker Park. We got food together.
Yeah, you was on the grill.
Yeah, you know, and that's very rare these days. I don't get to grill too often, but we fed the community free of charge. We had games, we had music, we had family fun.
Face painting.
Face painting,
Yeah.
definitely. He had one of his former students to
yeah.
come out and do some face painting. The next step to this is gathering them at the table to do a community roundtable. In the community roundtable, we're going to identify the needs of the community. And what I mean by that is the human services needs of the community. And so what's very important is offering these families the support they need. I don't feel like anybody is born a criminal. I feel like the lack of support from your community puts you in a position to have to make decisions that could alter your life. I was in at an event on Saturday, and the event said that the speaker said, "Give me a second, and I can quote it verbatim, because it jumped out at me because you don't think of it that way." She said, "Emotions don't care about your future."
Oh, that was the Sonia D. Williams Scholarship
Yes.
Breakfast. So that
Yes.
was from Dr. LaTwala Noten.
Yes. Emotions don't care about your future. What does that mean? If you don't have anybody guiding you in the right way, you can make decisions based off your emotions. And so I really feel like these human services, such as parenting classes, such as mentoring, such as after-school programs, such as summer programs, these programs can teach our children and teach our families the better way to make those decisions, and they not be emotional decisions that end up with some type of consequence that can alter your life forever. So we're focusing on that so we can shift the narrative. I do believe if we increase the support with human services, we'll see a higher graduation rate, we'll see a lower rate in crime, and also we'll see more family activities and see more families becoming successful. So that's our focus here lately, minus a few other things that we're collaborating with Justice of the Peace, Garrett Barnes. So we really feel like we're moving forward on some things. We have our meeting coming up the third Monday in this month, and we encourage everybody to come out because we can't do what we do without the support of the community. A lot of the feedback I got on Facebook was not another prayer vigil. And that really bothered me because they're right. You know what I'm saying? You get the pastors together, you get the city officials together after something tragic happened, and you pray, and then you expect that one prayer to fix what's happened. But the Bible says faith without works is dead. So you can have faith and you can pray, but if you don't work together, then all you're doing is praying. You need more than just prayer. You have to put work behind prayer. And so that's where we come in at with our collaboration. And it's not just him. Dr. Anthony Coleman, myself, Dr. Anthony Coleman hosts these collaboration events that are bringing all the churches in the community together once a quarter. Those are things that's going to help build our community. We have so much division. There's no way that we can have division and diversity. And so at some point we have to merge together and have more diversity than division to help build our community.
Okay. And Garrett, would you like to add anything to what he just said?
Well, I just want to echo and say thank you for having us on this morning. And it's a privilege to join my brother and cohort, Mr. Rico Carter, this morning on KLEK. And, you know, I kind of have a second hat today with being the education chair for the NAACP chapter of Craighead County. So, you know, part of why I'm here today is being that education chair and supporting our president, Shamal Carter, in that pursuit. And, you know, the thing that I just want to say with everything that he said, it's spot on. I agree with all of it. And, you know, I'm really impressed with the emphasis on human services rather than just one particular facet of, you know, whether it be, I mean, youth services falls under that as well, but, you know, senior services can fall under that. Job training can fall under that. And, you know, these are things that not only the city can do, but the county can do as well. And we're enumerated through our legislative powers as a county government to support that. And we can also work interlocally and cooperatively with the city of Jonesboro, like I've said numerous times on this show and in the community on such services. And that's something that is very important to me because it's so important to so many constituents, not just of mine, but throughout the city of Jonesboro and Craighead County as well.
So, and I think putting those programs together is very crucial because it's a focus on the total individual. Because if one part is not doing well, then it's going to affect the entire rest of that individual as well. So I definitely can appreciate the effort to have things in place for the entire individual, and hopefully that some of the consequences will be positive consequences instead of incidents like what happened. But you're right, it's going to take more than prayer. It's going to take all of us working together to make things happen.
And so if I can add to that, we always put an emphasis on youth services. That's something that you hear people talk. We need more youth services. But let me tell you something. They can go to these programs, but if there's a parent not at home guiding them, or if there is not some type of structure, and so that's where the parenting classes and the senior classes come in at. When you have family classes that include everybody, it bridges that gap between parent and child. I'm a father of 5 children, my oldest being 17 years old. And so with her being 17, there's a gap because they're at the age now where they feel like they know everything. And so with that being the case, how do I bridge that gap? I take time to sit down and talk to her. And then I'm very active in things such as parent-teacher conferences. I'm very active in things such, she's a cheerleader, so I'm supporting her in cheerleading. I have a daughter that's welding at the tech center with Garrett. We support her in that. So if you know what you have to do to build that family dynamic and you're very inclusive in that, then if you're inclusive, then they're going to push for their children to be successful. With every child, the only way they can be successful, in my eyes, is with a strong support system. And that support system starts with the family. So family dynamics falls under the human service that we're discussing. So it's very important that that's included.
Well, in the way that we develop this is, we make an intentional effort to reach out and to listen to people that are already doing some of these services or a derivative of them, because, there's a lot of great organizations that are out there, but they don't receive much, if any, public investment and support. So what ends up happening, it appears to me and some others, is that these programs, they'll get started and they're very there's a lot of emphasis on it when they get started, but then it's always the uncertainty of funding. And with that lack of foundational support and funding, it's hard to keep continuing these types of services, much less grow them and diversify them to provide more inclusivity of the community.
And I really think with collaboration of the city and the county and the funds that can be written for, we have a grants department with the city. We can find money in that manner if the city will support the initiative. That's the key thing, is getting them to support the initiative for human services.
Well, and I'll conclude this segment of it with, this may question a lot of people's ideology or perspective or outlook on what is the role of government.
Right.
And, if the role of government and the scope of government is to not invest and support its people, then what is its role?
Yeah, right. I agree.
What is its scope?
Yeah.
Okay. And you definitely have a point to be raised there. I mean, I think, again, if everybody participates, including the government in some form, then it's more likely to make things happen. Of course, we want to transition to something we talked a little bit about off air, and it kind of ties into what you all were saying as far as government helping. Shamal, you mentioned about the possibility of getting some funding for a project that the city is involved in, which is the renovation of the principal's house from the original Booker T. Washington School, which is right across from the E. Boone Watson Center. The city has acquired the property, and the plan for it is to renovate it to become the new African American Cultural Center, which will expand that space and preserve the history of African American Jonesboro. And it also has the added benefit that it will clear out room in the E. Boone Watson Center, so larger gatherings can take place there. So kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, I started. Well, it don't matter. So one thing that we're doing is trying to get the county to support this initiative. And what do I mean by that? So the city has already acquired the property. With them acquiring the property, there are renovations and things that need to be done. Jonesboro is in Craighead County. What does that mean? That means that there can be a collaboration with the county to help preserve this museum. And I can allow Garrett to talk a little more about it, but after some research, it doesn't just have to be a Jonesboro thing. I know we're looking for money to do different things, but if you include the county in that, that takes some of the financial burden off of the city. Yes, we may have to find money as far as funds on their side. There may be a match option for the city to match the funds with the county. There may be an option for the county to say, if you allow this to be put in a museum, then we can pay for this. Like I said, the city's already acquired the property. The property's been looked at. There's a plan that's in place, but the question right now is, where do we get the money from? Where the finances come from? I feel like a collaboration and a partnership allows us to preserve this history, this Black history in Jonesboro. So it's going to be very essential, not just for one party to try to preserve this history, but us as a whole. One thing that I'm pushing right now is everybody being inclusive. Everybody being inclusive. I feel like, as I stated before, Jonesboro is in Craighead County. Why do I pay taxes to fund a county road to be graved? If you can't put that same money in our community, in those places that we need it, we're paying those taxes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken, because before I said it, I was going to make sure. But we're paying money for stuff that's happening around us and not where we are. So why can we not take that money? Why can't we have a millage that goes toward this type of thing?
Well, I mean, so we kind of, in a way, we do. It's just a matter of the county seeing itself as, you know, a supporter of things that goes on in various cities across Craighead County. So, you know, some listeners out there might be wondering, well, how in the world can the county get involved with something that's like a museum or a civic type building in the city of Jonesboro? And there's state code for that, 14-14802 section B. They're in subsection C in community services, libraries and museums as part of that. So this would be a museum. And, you know, the part, Leganzi, that you mentioned about this moving the African American Cultural Center to this former principal's home, is going to make more room for people to gather at E-Boone, which is very big. I've been to several events there where, you know, the one side is filling up, and thankfully so, it's filling up. But how great would it be if there was more capacity for even larger gatherings than what it can handle right now with its current capacity? So that's a very big deal for the community and various groups and organizations that utilize that public resource to be able to have room for more people to be there. And I mean, that's really what we want more of, is to bring more and more people together. And a project like this wouldn't just be important for the city of Jonesboro, it would be important for all of Craighead County. It could have visitors and would have visitors from throughout the county. It wouldn't just be the city of Jonesboro and its citizens that are solely using you know, this building in this place.
Of course, I want to just add this caveat to it, because I think it does need to be said. And I want to hear from both of you on this. Talk about the importance of preserving this museum, because we do see in this country that there are attempts to minimize African American history. So considering that, operating against that backdrop, you know, how do people make the case for making sure that this history is preserved?
So in the history with ASU, they did a type of documentary thing. And so in 1939, I believe, there was a black doctor here in Craighead County. His wife actually divorced him. It has the whole read of it. And
they didn't have to put that in there, did they?
I'm sure. I don't know. But it's very important because, check this. I'm not going to say a name, but it's said that black history never happened. Why does that bother me? It bothers me because I know where my ancestors come from. I have a great-grandmother that lived to be 90 plus years old, who talked about sharecropping in the early 1900s, who talked about how her family, the land that they lived on and that they farmed on, the guy that owned it, she used to always say, Mr. So-and-so was so good to us. That's the history that I get. But what about the people who don't have the opportunity to sit down with a grandmother or a elder from that time? Because you have to think about it. We're in a time now where those people have passed away. So yes, I find it very essential for it to be for us to be inclusive, so that our history is preserved. So with that museum, we'll be able to draw people, even our culture, so they can go see the history in Jonesboro.
All right. So regarding the NAACP, as we wind down this segment, is there anything else that you want to say to the listeners and viewers?
Mention the meeting time and place.
Yes. So we'll be at the E. Boone Watson Center this coming Monday. Next Monday, rather, not this coming because we're at Monday. We'll be at the E. Boone Watson Center at 6 p.m. Membership dues are $30 and your application is done. You could do that there with us. You can pay us there. Or if you want to do it in a digital form, we have a Google document that we can send you along with the Branch's Cash App. So we encourage everybody to come out. We will get a flyer to you so that you will know about this round table. We will be feeding at this round table, and it allows us to collaborate and work on some of the services that we need in the community that we can do without the funding that we're asking for, just different events that can be inclusive of those in need.
All right, so there you have it. That's going to do it for this part of Community Conversation, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we're going to continue with Garrett. He's going to give all of his normal county updates, as he always does. So you guys have a great and blessed day. Enjoy the eclipse, y'all. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
It's a good one, man.
It was.